So when you're looking at this, you're probably going to look at it and go, oh wow, there's an engine in there. It has an engine, which is great. Welcome back to BJP Lifestyle, guys. I hope you are having a great day. If you're new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below right now to be notified when new videos go live. New videos are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. here on the channel. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably in the market for a new or a used vehicle, I would say, but a new to you vehicle. So I'm just going to jump in and show you guys some different things you guys should look for. This is going to be targeted towards you guys who are probably just a standard everyday person and not a mechanic or someone that's insanely mechanically inclined. So if you're going out to buy a car on your own and you don't have a lot of mechanical experience or a lot of car experience, this is going to be the video for you. It's going to help you guys out. So let's just jump right in. First of all, look at the reviews on the dealership. That's going to be the number one thing. Check their website, scroll through, look at the reviews, check like Google reviews, stuff like that. Make sure they have a decent rating and that it's a good dealership. If you're going to a small dealership, that's going to be especially important. Used car dealerships, smaller ones can tend to be a little sketchy. But if you guys are going to be going to a big dealership, then most likely you're going to get a certified type of vehicle where it's going to have a lot more quality to the vehicle. So also, before you go to check out any vehicle, make sure that you guys do your research on the package and the different features that you guys are going to want to get. Because you're going to go to check one out and you're going to notice things that you like or don't like, and a lot of people don't do their research before they purchase a vehicle and then they're not happy with it. So that's going to be something else that you're going to want to check out before you actually go. So definitely make sure you know what you're looking for before you go there and actually just jump into a purchase, because the salesperson is going to try and push it on you whether you know what you want or not. So make sure you know what you want so that you can kind of have a little bit of a fighting chance there. All right, so I'm going to use this as an example. This is my vehicle here. This is my 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee that I currently drive, and I'm going to use this as an example for this video. So I'm going to say as if I am approaching this as a vehicle on the lot. Now, the first things that I'm going to look for is going to be right down here on the wheels. I'm going to want to look around the edges of the wheels, just around here, all the way around them, because that's going to be a spot you'll notice a lot of places on the wheels. Mine are fairly new and really good. I'm very careful about driving, but you're going to want to look for chips and scratches and scrapes around the edges and chunks missing, because that's how you'll know if someone kind of took care of their vehicle. If someone's curbing them and hitting curbs and jumping curbs and not really taking care of their vehicle like that, that's one way to know. So you're going to want to look at all four, because sometimes, you know, things can happen. A rock can flick up and just hit one spot on one wheel, but you want to look around all of them and just make sure that's good. This is just going to be your kind of initial impression of the vehicle, because if those are beat up, then they probably have a lot of other things that they didn't take care of on the vehicle. Now, on that same note, I'm going to say go ahead and check the door handles. You can see here that I have like these little lines. I don't know if they'll translate to camera, but that's just like some water stuff, so you should be able to just wipe that away. But you just want to look for scratches anywhere around here. You'll kind of see this like ring kind of area around here, kind of in this area, like a smile almost. There'll be kind of some rings. That could be from people having rings, stuff like that, scratching against down here, or just holding their keys in their hand. This one obviously has keyless entry, so it's not super common for that to happen, but you will notice on mine behind here there's some little scratches from rings and stuff like that that can happen in here. Just make sure there's not a bunch under here, because again, I'm going to relate that as a first impression type of thing with the wheels, that if they're like that, then chances are they didn't take good care of their vehicle, because those two things are kind of like a red flag for me. Just right off the bat, I probably wouldn't buy it if the rims are all curved up. On that same note, whether you have a hatch or you have a trunk on it, just check the little trunk lid down here and just make sure kind of the same thing's going on, because if that's beat on, or in this case down here on this kind of lip, if this thing is super beat up, you can see there's some like scratches and stuff, but they're very minor. But if this was super beat up and like you could tell that it was used, then you might want to steer clear of that exact Jeep, or that exact vehicle in general, just because of the issues that could arise from them beating on it a little bit. And then while you're checking on that kind of stuff, just kind of be looking around, keep an eye on back here, make sure like your rotors don't have, you can see this little line here in mine. I probably need to do my brakes somewhat soon, but if you see a bunch of lines in it and scratches and scrapes like that, chances are the brakes need to be done and they haven't been, which is kind of a little bit of a sign if they're not telling you that. And then obviously check around and make sure things aren't rusty and stuff like that. Press on these kind of panels also around, if you're actually serious about it. If this is all beat up and that's all beat up, right off the bat, I would red flag it and probably not want to purchase it. But just kind of look around on these panels and press on them, make sure that all the clips are good and stuff, make sure that they're not popping out. And while you're doing that, just like these kind of things, trims around, just stuff like that, make sure it's not popping out. Because like I said, that's going to be the kinds of things that if those aren't fixed and touched up, or if those are issues that are already arising on a newer vehicle, then you're probably going to, you know, maybe want to steer clear of that, because those are going to be some things that you don't really want. Another thing, while you're checking those couple of things, underneath your wheels and the handles is crawl underneath here and just check up under this, especially on lower vehicles like cars and stuff. Just check under this on the flat part of your lower valance here on the bottom of your bumper or like front lip. You'll notice some cars are down here. So yeah, definitely crawl under here and just check that. Make sure it's not all scraped up, because again, that's going to be a sign that they didn't take good care of their vehicle. And if you have all three of those combined, then they obviously didn't take good care of the vehicle. And if you're buying something that could have some performance to it, that might have some more power, chances are they beat on it and you're not going to want that engine. Now on that same note, when you go in here, you're going to want to check very similar things, where you're going to want to check the panels. You're going to want to check for scratches, scrapes in the leather. If you guys have leather like upholstery stuff on here. Obviously my Jeep is super dirty. Like you guys know, this is just like my daily driver. This is my Jeep. It is what it is. So also on here, you can see that the leather is kind of wearing. This is kind of common for a few year old vehicle with this amount of miles on it, but just make sure that it's not all ripped up and torn up and folded in weird ways or whatever. And just kind of look around, you know, just keep an eye on different things, but that's, you know, I mean, that's going to be expected. Now, obviously, even if you're not mechanically inclined, go ahead and just pop the hood. I'll show you, it's so easy. You're just going to pop that. You're going to want to swing around to the front here, and then you'll notice that you'll have to, it won't just come up. So if you have never opened a hood before, it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking for you, I'm sure, and you're going to have no idea what you're looking at. So there's going to be a little like flip hinge here, and you're just going to basically push it to the side to unlock it and release the hood. It's going to be different on every vehicle, but for the most part, it's just going to be a little piece like this. So you just kind of push to the side and then the hood will release. So when you're looking at this, you're probably going to look at it and go, oh wow, there's an engine in there. It has an engine, which is great. There's going to be a bunch of different things you guys are going to want to look for, and it's not going to be stuff that you need to be super mechanically inclined to do. And one thing is going to be your coolant here, which you can see this is the coolant overflow reservoir, and it's super easy for you guys to read even if you guys are not a car person, and you'll be able to say like min max. You want to make sure that's in between those areas. Mine actually, I just filled this not that long ago, and it clearly has a leak, which I've been able to smell. That's another thing, is after you test drive it, pop the hood, check it while it's warm so you can smell, see if there's any leaks or anything like that. You're probably going to be looking at this and be confused if you're not into cars or you don't understand what any of this is or what anything is, but you'll see these little belts down here that kind of wrap around all the little pulleys and stuff like that. You're just going to want to make sure that those aren't fraying. You know, super basic. You guys are able to look for that whether you know what you're looking at or not. I just want to make sure that they're not fraying. You want to look at like the connections and stuff like this, make sure that they're good, make sure that there's not a bunch of random liquid anywhere that's all like melted or bubbling or anything like that. And basically just look around on the inside and make sure that there's not any drips, which you can actually see down in the bottom of mine on that little pan. Hopefully you guys can see there's some water down there. It did rain today, so I want to say that it could be that, but I also do have a little bit of a coolant leak somewhere because I can smell it, which that's another thing. If you're smelling something sweet, you're probably gonna have a coolant leak on that vehicle. So if you have that like sweet smell, when you pop the hood or when you're around it after it's been running for a little bit and you smell that sweet smell, then you're gonna know that there is a leak on it. So you're gonna wanna definitely check that out. Another thing that I'd recommend is just look for overall cleanliness. If it's super dirty like mine here, you can see there's just like dirt and dinge everywhere. If it's like this and you're buying from a dealer, then you're probably gonna put a little bit of a concern on the dealer, because they probably should be cleaning that and make it look nice and clean and professional and brand new for you, especially if it's only a few-year-old vehicle. But yeah, just make sure that's good. You can check your oil dipstick. If you don't know how to do that, I have a video linked up above that'll show you guys how to change your oil. You can just skip to the part where I check the oil dipstick, and basically, yeah, you can just check the oil, make sure it has good oil, because that's going to be a thing. If you're buying it from a dealer, they should be doing things like that. They should make sure this is topped off, make sure there's no leaks, all that kind of stuff. So if not, then it's going to be a red flag on the dealer and a red flag on that vehicle, and you're probably going to want to steer clear of it. Now, I probably should note that before you check all that, like I said, you should take it for a test drive. And what you're going to do is, I always recommend doing this. It's going to sound weird, but when you get in, put the car into accessory mode without starting it, put the windows down, make sure obviously all 4 windows go down and they work. You're gonna wanna do that. And the reason you're gonna wanna put the windows down before starting it is so you can hear it from the outside if there's any weird noises that the car is gonna make. So you're gonna put your foot on the brake if it's a push start, obviously, and just start the vehicle. Now you wanna listen for like clicks, bangs, any kind of weird rough idle noises. You'll notice that it doesn't sound smooth. It should have a very smooth just startup and then a very smooth idle where it should just feel smooth. It shouldn't feel like it's jumping around, bouncing, clunky, anything like that. So you're definitely gonna wanna look for that. Now, if you're alone, you're gonna wanna turn on the different light settings. You can use your hazards over here or wherever they are. Turn your hazards on, check those, make sure all the bulbs are good and replaced. These are, like I said, these are things that you're gonna wanna check just based on the fact that if they're not checked, then the dealer probably isn't going through the vehicle as good as they say they are. And there's different things like swapping out a light bulb that they haven't done, which is a little bit of a red flag for me. I know I keep saying that, but there's a lot of different things. If you're gonna be spending a large amount of money on a vehicle that's not brand new, you're gonna wanna check a lot of these things. But I wanna recommend a few different things for the test drive when you guys go on your test drive with your new vehicle. Because like I said, they're gonna give you that basic route for you to take. I'm gonna recommend that you tell them that you have other plans if you have a different route that you want to take. Now, if you don't know the area, maybe just take their recommendation, but either way, if you guys are a highway driver, make sure you get a good amount of time on the highway so you know what it feels like in the type of situation you're gonna be driving in the most. If you guys drive city, I don't drive on the highway a lot, so for me, a little bit of highway and a lot of like city road driving is good for me so I can understand how it's gonna feel in that type of situation for what I do. Another kind of weird thing that I'll recommend on your test drive is to hit some bumps and hit some little crater type things that are in the road. Hit some different bumps, see if it makes any weird clunking noises, banging noises, anything like that, because that could be a sign with your control arms or your shocks or stuff like that. If it feels really hard and stiff when you bump those, then you might know that there's something a little bit wrong. Now this one's gonna kind of suck for you guys, because if it's hot like it's hot here, you're gonna want to go to your climate settings, you're gonna want to put them on, max it all the way out, check your AC, make sure it's nice and cold on you, max out your AC, you know, get your max AC going, make sure that works really good for you. And then like I said, if it's hot out, it's gonna suck, or in the other situation, but you're gonna want to turn on your heat and make sure that's blowing super hot so you guys can make sure that both work, even though you're not going to use them at the time. And basically just move your seat around, you know, check all the different features that the vehicle has and just make sure everything works. And on that same note, check your speakers. I always recommend you play something that you're going to listen to or something that you use on your phone a lot. Connect the Bluetooth. The salesperson can wait. If they're trying to rush you through it, then that's kind of like weird. You can take as much time as you need to check out this vehicle and to make sure that it's going to be the right one for you and that you're not going to get scammed or ripped off. So play with that, connect your Bluetooth, play songs that you guys are actually going to listen to and songs that you know how they sound in your current vehicle or on many different speakers. If you hear rattling and like the speaker just sounds tinny and like blown out, then that's not a good sign either as far as the previous owner, because they were cranking that all the way and they obviously didn't care about their vehicle, and also the dealership didn't care enough to check that and fix it or repair it before selling it. So those are a bunch of different things you guys can check. If you guys have any recommendations down below for other people to check out, then make sure you do leave those in the comment section so that some other people that might be looking for this video and looking for some things to check out, they can check those out. But hopefully a lot of these were really informative for you and they helped you guys in your new vehicle purchase. If you did and it helped you out, make sure you come back to this video and let me know down in the comment section down below, because I'd love to hear what you guys got and if you found any issues with it, if they fixed it, and all kinds of stuff like that. If you did enjoy this video or you got any information out of it at all, make sure you smash that like button down below. Help the YouTube algorithm, help this video out to more people, and of course help the channel grow. On that same note, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button down below right now to be notified when new videos go live. New videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. here on the channel. Of course, check out Shop Lifestyle. Just did a whole rebrand on the website, so make sure you guys check it out. Top link in the description. But thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
I feel like I am losing control, 'cause it feels like I'm losing